Hey, Hans here. I've been receiving an increased number of queries about my laptop project. Now, if you haven't heard of it, back in 2017, I showed a Mini-ITX machine running entirely off battery power, and it could run for a few hours, and announced that I was planning on designing a Mini-ITX laptop kit. So I had several updates about that in 2018, and then everything went silent. So my apologies for the silence. I've been really busy doing other things, like trying to earn more money, which I'll get to later as part of the problem. But what happened was my goal was to finish it by October 2018, which is when the AMI West show was. It's a show for Amiga computer fans. I didn't get that far. This is how far I got. I called it my not a laptop because it's basically a custom-made LCD screen strapped to my bulky Mini-ITX case with this keyboard here. So actually quite an achievement, but obviously not the full laptop. I intended to record a video showing this, but then I moved to a different country. This went into storage, and yeah, things progressed from there. So what went wrong? I think it's always good. What can you learn when things don't go the way you want them to? So what actually killed the project in the end, well, didn't kill it, put it on hold in the end, was most of the people on my mailing list for this are Amiga computer fans. And the Mini-ITX motherboard that's in here, it was clear that was not going to be available anytime soon. And at the time, I was also, I'd put a lot of hours into the laptop project. I was running out of money. This is quite expensive to develop. These materials, the laser cutting, everything's expensive. So I needed to focus on something, and this project was clearly, even if I complete it quickly, it was clearly just too high a risk. So yes, at that point I sadly put it on hold with the goal of restarting it again later when things are in a better state. Now I could leave it there and say, well, okay, that's why I put it on hold, but let's have a look further. Why didn't I finish it in October of 2018? And that's kind of interesting. So I think the biggest mistake was I tried to go for the end product immediately. Now I'm a software developer, I'm an engineer, I've been doing this for years. This sort of rapid prototyping, iterative development, I should have been doing that with this, sort of making simple prototypes and getting increasingly sophisticated until I get the end result I want. Instead, I had this idea of this professional looking but fat Mini-ITX laptop that I was going to make, and I tried to go straight for it. And that really, so I was trying to pick out products, like components that I knew were available in quantity, that I could get bulk discounts on and things like that, when I should just have been focusing on getting something built and working, especially as this is very different from software development. And to make matters worse, I didn't have access to the machinery that you need for the manufacturing techniques that I was hoping to use. You may have remembered I bought a smaller 3D printer first, and then this gigantic one, which turned out to be my most expensive mistake. It took, almost a month full time to assemble, and then it was just plagued with problems. And it's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of the plastic thread 3D printers. I forget the name for them even now. If I were to do more 3D printing, I would want to use one of the photosensitive polymer techniques, or the laser sintering process, and preferably laser sintering, because what I really wanted was a 3D printer that could 3D print in metal. But those things are way, way, way out of my price range. Anyway, the reason I got to this in the end is I realized I wasn't going to be able to build the entire thing, so I thought, let's start with the LCD screen. And at that point, I'd realized the 3D printer, it just wasn't accurate enough. There were too many problems. These prints could take a day because you're making a big thing with a lot of plastic. And I don't know if you've used these 3D printers, but they have a tendency to fail. You know, things will come off and you end up with this thread and oozing all over the place. It just didn't have the accuracy and the reliability that I needed. Now, don't get me wrong, with the smaller 3D printers, you can do fun things. Either way, I switched to something that I knew I could do, and that was laser cutting with the plastics that I had available through a service called Pinoco. So I don't own a laser cutter myself, but I knew I could use their service. And this is the end result, which, I don't know, I think the end result's quite nice. Not everything worked quite. I think this outer rim, let me turn it so that you can see it a little bit. This outer rim, that melting and bending the plastic, not that great. So I've learned a lot from this. I do plan on restarting this project later this year. I'm hoping to restart it later this year and actually finish it and use everything that I've learned so far. I will simplify my plans. I haven't stopped thinking about it. I have some new changes. I'm planning on replacing this keyboard with a nicer one because I've been using this hardware for a while, so I now know things that do and don't work. Maybe I'll go for a bigger screen, maybe I won't. Actually, it depends on the sizing of everything. So if you are interested in this laptop project, I highly recommend that you click the link that I'll put below the video and sign up to the mailing list. That will let me know a lot better how many people are interested than if you just subscribe to this channel, which you should also do. But yeah, if you're specifically interested in the laptop project, sign up to the mailing list. That's the best way to stay up to date with what's happening. Don't expect regular videos or regular emails via that anytime soon, but it will happen. For me, this is unfinished business. I am determined to finish this, and I do want to make my own Mini-ITX laptop. So that's where things stand. That's why you haven't heard a lot from me. And I think if you've got a project like this that sort of gets derailed, sit back, do what I did. Sit back and think, what went wrong? What could I have done better? And also think about what went right. Right? The fact that I did manage to get this done, that's something that went right. And then use what you learned on your next project or on finishing the project. So until next time, hope all is well with you. See you later.